Hi, welcome to Pebbles. So I want to make a video on how to use the pattern tile and pattern maker component to make AABB patterns. So remember the example file on Food for Rhino has everything set up in BASIC for you. So before I take you into Grasshopper and Pebbles itself, I want to show you the basics of how the pattern maker works. So in front of us is a very basic brick bond called a flemish bond. And there's three things that you need to do in order to communicate this pattern to somebody. You need to tell them that there's two different types of bricks occurring. In this case, it's a header brick and a stretcher brick. That's the smaller brick and the larger brick respectively. You also need to communicate that there is an alternation of a header and stretcher on each row. If you want to translate that to an AABB pattern language, it would go A, B, A, B. Or if you want to give those numerical values, it would go 1, 2, 1, 2. And additionally, in order to center that header on each stretcher, you need to communicate that there is an offset occurring on every second row as well. So in every second row, in this case, there's an offset of 3/4 of that stretcher brick. So those are the three things you need to communicate to Pebbles in order to create AABB patterns. You need the sizes of the units. You need to know the pattern occurring in each row, and then the offsets in each corresponding row as well. So to stay true to that example that I just showed you, I've created a Flemish bond with a darker header. Now I'm going to show you how I created that within Pebbles. So I've set up this script already. And if you've seen the introduction video or read the description on the Food for Rhino website, you know that you need to start off kind of any Pebbles script by creating the units first of all. And in this case, I've actually created 4 units because I want to show you how easy it is to introduce kind of variation to even basic brick patterns or basic modular patterns. But we'll save that for after this first explanation is done. So yeah, four units connected to a merge component here. You don't have to use the merge component, but I like to because it helps organize in my mind which unit is becoming which number. So you can see that the stretcher is becoming unit number 1, header unit number 2, and then stretcher 2, unit number 3, and then header 2 is unit number 4. And of course, you need to know those corresponding numbers for this pattern input. So we've connected the merge component to the pattern tile input, and then we have 2 multi-line data panels connected to the pattern and offsets input. If you don't know how to create a multi-line data panel, it's really simple. Create a panel, and you go multi-line data. And so there's that 1-2 pattern occurring as I just described here. So that's the alternation of the header and the stretcher, or in this case, the stretcher and the header. And there's those offsets occurring as well. So every second row, there's an offset occurring of 3/4 for that stretcher brick. Now keep in mind that you have to match the list length on the pattern and the offsets input. So the list length of 2 occurring in the offsets input, and that's why I had to repeat those 1-2 values in the second indice of the pattern input. If I don't, I'll get an alternation of a header and a stretcher, but I won't have that offset in every second row. So match that list length, even if you have to repeat some data sometimes. Now let's introduce this 3rd and 4th brick here to show you how easy it is to kind of get a little bit of complexity within a very simple pattern. 1, 2, 3, 2, let's say. And we'll go 3, 2, 1, 2. You might hear my poor dog in the background. Man. But yeah, you have the you've added a 3rd brick in here now, and that brick is a darker stretcher brick. So let's add in another header brick here and see even a little bit more visual complexity. So we're going to go 3, 4, 1, 2, and then we're going to go 1, 2, or 3, 2, 3, 4. All right, so there is that much lighter header brick now, really in contrast to the dark header brick. It might even not be recognizable immediately as a Flemish bond anymore, but that's what Pebbles is really good at being able to do, is to introduce new units into patterns really easily. So you can get as crazy and complex as you want with that kind of stuff. Now there's also one more example that I want to show you. So that's the closed curve, and you can see here I have many units I'm using within this pattern. I have a whole bunch of different types of stretchers and headers, and I have some soldier and some sailor bricks. I have some Roman stretcher bricks, which is a thinner type of unit. And so this is what I've created. Now I'm not going to get into all the details of what I've done to create this, but essentially you can see that there is some sort of modified running bond occurring, with also the introduction of a header and stretcher alternation. And then every 15th row, I believe, is an alternation between a sailor and a stretcher brick. I've repeated that 3 times all the way till we hit a course of Roman stretchers, and then we have created a Flemish cross bond at the very top with a flare header, which is a darker header occurring as well. Now to do that within Pebbles, so to do that pattern within Pebbles, I've had to introduce a lot of repeat data components, and as well as some insert item components, and that's how I've created the patterns. So if you guys are able to create anything really interesting or you feel is interesting, please send them to me. I would love to kind of use them as content on the Instagram page. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, thanks. Enjoy.